of the Telangana ICET mock test, the state level free mock test that was conducted by T.I.M.E on 14th and 15th March. So if you are watching this now, or if you have joined us now, I assume you have already taken the mock test. Anybody who took the mock test already, please let us know in the chat box how you felt, especially about the English section. What was the difficulty? Was it as easy as you thought it would be, or was it as tough as you thought it would be? Let us know. Okay, let's start the discussion. The mock is exactly on the lines of the expected TG ICET pattern. I'm not going into that discussion now because I'm sure you all know what the pattern is like, and we will see today. You'll understand, you'll get more familiar with the question types as we discuss the paper. So let us dive right in. Okay, so before that, just one quick point. ICET typically has vocab, grammar, and reading comprehension. Okay, so let us see. Let's start here. Fill in the blanks with the suitable option. So you can see that it is a one-word substitution question. Okay, you need to, here, a definition has been given and you need to fill in the blank with the right word. So that's what we call one-word substitutes. A person excessively concerned about his poor health and ailment or ailments is known as. Okay, now when you look at the words, you may wonder, do we have such complicated words in ICET? Well, you never know, okay? Though the level of vocabulary is usually moderate, occasionally they spring such surprises. So we try to give you a mix of all possible difficulty levels. Okay. Many of these words here may be unfamiliar to some of you or most of you, but that doesn't matter. Okay, we're just trying to introduce you to all ranges of vocabulary. Okay, so a person excessively concerned about his poor health and ailments is known as. Let us look at the options. Does anybody know the answer to this question? Do let me know. I'll also give you another more commonly used word for this, but before that, let us take a look at the options. The first one is abalone. Abalone is the name of a mushroom. It's a type of mushroom and also a sea creature. Okay, it's also a sea creature. There are abalone mushrooms and there are sea creatures called abalones. Minstrel is a singer, musician. Hypocaust. Well, it's not a commonly used word. Hypocaust is a heating system, an ancient heating system, okay? A kind of heater that was used in many ancient civilizations. The word we are looking for is valetudinarian. Okay, valetudinarian is somebody who is obsessed with their health and who probably constantly live in the fear of illness. Okay, now there is a more commonly used term for that. Anybody knows this word? Please do put your comments in the chat box. I'm looking at the chat box too constantly. Here we have hypocaust. That I told you is a heating system, but the word that means the same as valetudinarian is hypochondriac. Okay, more or less the same. A hypochondriac is also someone who constantly lives in fear of illness, or it's a little different actually. A hypochondriac feels that they are unwell, that they have some serious disease. All the time they feel they have some serious illness. Okay, so that is done. Moving on. Just a second. Yeah. Okay. Here, a gossiping, frivolous is someone who doesn't take things seriously, or restless person is known as a. Is known as a. Okay. We have, let me just erase this quickly. Okay. Here we have flint. Flint is the name of a rock. Okay, you may have heard of ancient prehistoric men using flint tools, right? So flint is not this. Flibbertigibbet. Now, even if you do not know this word, just look at the word. Doesn't it look like someone who is silly or not very serious, right? There is also another word called flippant, which means someone who lacks seriousness, similar to frivolous. Okay, so flibbertigibbet is someone who always indulges in gossip, who doesn't take their work seriously, etc. Flunky is a slang word for servant, and flapjack is a sweet dish. Okay, a kind of sweet cake, a dessert. So our answer is flibbertigibbet. As I told you, it's not often that you get words of this difficulty level, but you never know, right? Okay. Now that's over. What we have here is passive voice. They have called for estimate. So what voice is this? They, the word they is the subject of the sentence. So this is an active voice. Now, what do we do to change this before looking at the options? Okay, let me tell you a very easy way to change active to passive. They have called for estimates. What should we do in passive voice? We have to give importance to the subject. What is the subject? Estimates. So let us bring the subject to the forefront first. That is the first task. Then what will happen to the object? The object has to be sent to the end of the sentence, and it's easy to remember. You send it off with a by, but not BYE. That is all. Okay, so by the object. However, here in active voice, since it is a pronoun, personal pronoun, in the active voice, we use the subject form, which is they. When we make it the object, say if it is a proper noun, okay, if it is say Raju has called for estimates, then in the object form also it will remain Raju. However, here we have to change the subject pronoun into object pronoun. So there is an additional task. That is all. So they will become, what is the object form of they, them. Okay, so by them, I told you, you have to send back the subject with a by. So by them. Now what? Have called for estimates. Now here, they have called for estimates. The problem in passive voice is often with the tense. So remember, in passive voice, you always use the past participle or the V3 form. Okay, so here called V3 form is what? Called only, and it is a phrasal verb, so you can't omit the for. Called for. Okay, let us put called for here. Now comes the form of the verb. They have called for will become, so they have called for is present perfect. What will that be? Estimates have been called for, which is option 3. This is how you quickly go about converting a sentence into passive voice. Okay, bring the object to the front of the sentence, send the subject off with the by, remember, and then put the V3 form of the verb. Then you look at the tense and make appropriate modifications. You may have to use the appropriate auxiliary verb or whatever. Okay. Okay. Moving on, now it is the opposite. Passive voice of, oh, sorry. Passive, here what did we do? Here also we did the same thing, passive voice, sorry. So here also we are doing the same thing, not the opposite. I thought we had to make this into active. So we are going to find the passive form of this. The teacher punished the girl for being impolite. Okay, I'll try and avoid using grammar jargon here. I'll tell you in very simple terms. For being impolite is not a very important part of this. It is important in terms of meaning. But when you look at the sentence structure, right, the teacher is the subject, the verb is punished, and the girl is the object. The reason is not an integral part of the sentence. So that for being impolite will stay where it is. Right? Now let us do the same thing. The teacher punished the girl. So who is the object? The girl. Punished V3 will be also punished. The girl, whatever the verb form, punished by the teacher for being impolite. That does not change. Okay. Now the teacher punished the girl. Simple past. Simple past, simple auxiliary, was punished. Simple past, was. Singular, girl. So where is that? The girl was punished by the teacher. There you go. Easy, right? If you have any questions, please let me know. Passive voice of Rama lent me this book. Rama lent me this book. Now, here there are two possibilities. Okay, there are two objects, as you can see. Only one subject, Rama, and two objects. What are the objects? Again, I'm not using any jargon, direct, indirect, all this we don't need. Lend me this book. So, me and this book are both objects. So, we can decide to put either of the objects first. Okay. Now, if we make this book the main object, then you do not change the form of me. Okay. This book was lent to me by Ram. But here you can see that we are bringing me as the main object here. Then me becomes I. Okay. So I was lent this book by Ram. I was lent this book by Ram. Okay. So that is the answer, because here again it is simple past. So simple past, was lent this book by Ram. Now we have a reading comprehension passage. Since I assume you have already done the test, I'll quickly run through the passage. Okay. India is changing. We need to build bridges, airports, highways, even shopping malls. But in this entire din is a lot of noise about reforms and development. It is shocking to see the dismal place that perhaps the most important item on the development agenda has been relegated to. Not going to discuss each and every word here. Dismal is disappointing or dark. Okay. Relegate is to push something to the back. the development and growth of human beings, or to put it differently, investment in human capital. So what are they saying? Yes, there is a lot of infrastructure, investment in infrastructure. There is a lot of commercial activity happening. But amidst all this development, the development of human capital has taken a back seat. That is the idea of the first para. Ask any youngster today what he or she would like to become, and the reply most of the time would be an MBA, an IT professional, an actor, a model. In short, anything that would get them a lot of money in the shortest time possible. So, this is what youngsters want today. For this is the new paradigm, the new model. Success at any cost, this success being synonymous with money and fame in that order. In that order means money comes first, then fame. Power naturally is expected to follow. Money, fame, power. Some people might say they want to become scientists, but what they mean is that they want to do an MBA after a BTech to increase their market value. Okay. Education is no longer an end in itself. So even when it comes to research or science education, there also money matters. Rather, it is a means to an end, what education. And that end is invariably money. Education is only a path to earning money. Education as a comprehensive, holistic, all-encompassing endeavor to elevate one's level of self-consciousness has been given decent burial. This is a common expression, has been given decent burial means it has all but died. What? The concept of education for the sake of enlightenment. Okay. No reasonably bright student takes up subjects such as literature, history, political science, philosophy, or even mathematics for the sake of knowledge. Indeed, students who pursue them have become objects of much derision, contempt. So this is the situation in India as we are aware. Okay. So let us look at the questions. You've got the idea, right? What is the central idea? We are investing in infrastructure. We are investing in commercialization, but are we investing in our people? Even education has become just a tool in the pursuit of money. Education for its own sake is not valued in our country. Okay. According to the author, the most important item on the development program of India should be, what does the author say? If you're not sure, please go and check. The author says it should be investment in human capital or development and growth of human beings. Right? So let's look at the options. Building of bridges and airports, no. That is already being done. Linking of states by constructing highways, no. Concentrating on the growth of individuals or human beings, yes. Investing in software companies, no. Once you have understood what the author has said, it's very easy to pick the answer. The youngsters nowadays choose professions like modeling, IT, business administration, etc. because they can earn a lot of money in a short period. If you do not remember, go and check. It's directly written in the passage. Let us see. Are interested in subjects like MBA and BTech. No, that's the opposite of what the passage says. The passage says people do not choose subjects because they love it. They only look at how lucrative it is. So they can earn more money in a short period of time, directly mentioned. Feel they can bring about a change in the Indian scenario. From the passage, it looks like no one is bothered. Are forced into it as this is the new paradigm acknowledged by many. This is an extreme option. Nobody is forcing them. They want to earn more money in a short period of time. In modern India, a successful person means a person. So what were the things? Money, fame, and power, right? So who is famous and powerful because of his wealth? Money comes first because of that fame and power. Yes. Who is acknowledged by the society, not mentioned. Who can put his skills to the best use? Skills have not been mentioned at all in this context. who is highly educated and respected by the society. Unfortunately, the passage says these are not the people who are considered successful. Hence, the answer is 1. Easy, right? Direct questions. So, those who are scared of reading comprehension, please understand in an exam like I said, you just need to quickly skim through the passage, understand the central idea, and then it's not difficult at all to get the answers. Okay. Education nowadays is taking up a job as a means to the end is money. It's clearly mentioned. Acquire money, yes. Achieve self-fulfillment, no. Unfortunately, self-consciousness, no. Become successful is incomplete. The passage directly mentions that education is a means to an end, and that end is money, and success is defined by money, but the direct answer is to acquire money. Okay. Students who are looked upon with derision are those who, it is mentioned towards the end of the passage, those who take up subjects such as these, right? These are the ones, those who take up subjects for the sake of knowledge. Look at, so let us see, are those who look at education as a means to make money. Unfortunately, they are not looked down upon. Fail to increase their market value with the help of what they have learned. That has not been mentioned. Are not reasonably bright, out of scope option. Pursue subjects like history, philosophy, yes, for the sake of knowledge. Absolutely. Very, very direct answer, right? Okay. That is it. Now back to vocabulary. This is an opposite question, antonyms question. Genuine. Genuine means authentic, real, sincere. So, unfeigned. Okay. Feigned, what do we need here? We need the opposite. Feign is to pretend, unfeigned is actually genuine. So this would be a synonym. Feign is to pretend. Okay, so this is not opposite of genuine. Unbecoming is something that doesn't, it's not very nice of a person. It's very unbecoming of you, means it's not courteous behavior or nice or elegant behavior. That is not related to genuine, right? Here we have insincere. So genuine is sincere. The opposite of that is insincere. Brutal means cruel. That is unrelated to the given word. Okay. Involve somebody, what would the opposite be? Is it entail? Entail also means involve. What does it involve? What does it entail? Right? This is a synonym. Exclude. Involve someone, exclude them. Right? Entreat is to request, beg. Comprehend is to understand. The answer is exclude. Okay, nothing to discuss here really. Okay. Now, this is a grammar question, as you can see. Fill in the blanks with the suitable option. Though the trial went on, okay, there's nothing in the chat box. If you have any questions, any doubts, any comments, please let me know. Yeah. Though the trial went on for years, no specific charges dash him as yet for lack of evidence. So, see, the trial went on for years. That is in the past. But no specific charges dash. So here you have the word prove in all the options. So, you know, no charges proved against him for lack of evidence, and there is the word yet, which means that they are still waiting to see if something can be proved against him, right? Yet. So it is an ongoing thing. What tense should we use? Present perfect. Have been proved against him as yet. Okay, no specific charges have been proved against him as yet. Not has, because here the word is charges and it is plural. Okay, and you need against, so the answer is option 2. Studies conducted by the researchers for the past 3 years. Okay, past 3 years, it's gone on, the studies dash that the children with low nutrition are also likely to suffer from problems of coordination and behavior. So, ongoing studies, these studies are going on. So, again, what tense should you use? Present perfect. Studies conducted by the researchers for the past 3 years have shown that. Okay, because it is an ongoing thing. We can say show that, but then you are only looking at the results and you're not looking at the continuity factor. The continuity factor has been highlighted by for the past 3 years. Hence, the answer is option 3. One is not entirely wrong, but then the focus is taken off this period of past 3 years. If you have to talk of an an action that has been continuously going on for a period of time, you use the present perfect as is shown in option 3. Okay. Now, we have an underlined idiom here. We need to find the meaning. Our manager is so good at his work, nobody can fill his shoes when he retires. Even if you do not know this idiom, the meaning is self-explanatory, right? He's very good at his work, nobody. So when he retires, what will happen? Probably nobody can really do justice to that role or take his place, right? So fill his shoes. What does it mean? Let us see. Substitute somebody in efficiency means they can't be as good as that person. Learn something efficiently, no. Appreciate the work of subordinates, no. Unrelated. Handle, all these are unrelated. Okay. So to fill someone's shoes means to do justice to their role or to be as good as they are. We can also say these are very big shoes to fill. I have very big shoes to fill means let us say you are taking over a role from someone and they have been exceptional in that role, then you use this expression. Okay. Now we have another reading comprehension passage. Let us read it. Looks like a passage on biology. Then you see a science passage like this. Please do not panic. Many students tell me we get scared looking at all the big, big words. Big, big words do not matter. Okay. They do not expect you to have in-depth subject knowledge at all. Whatever terms are required for your comprehension of the passage will be explained in the passage. Okay. In the passage itself, they will be explained. One of the greatest mysteries of evolutionary biology is how 150 or more million years ago, modern day angiosperms, there you go. See, the meaning has been given. This is what I said. Okay. Modern day angiosperms of flowering plants diverged from their closest relatives, the gymnosperms or seed bearing plants without flowers. Example has been given. I'm just running through it. Okay, so this is one of the greatest mysteries. How angiosperms diverged from gymnosperms many, many, many millions of years ago. A developmental study of the water lily conducted by Joseph Williams and William Friedman of the University of Colorado may provide an important clue, okay, into this mystery. A distinguishing feature of flowering plants is that each seed consists of two parts: an embryo that is similar to that of all other plants, and a unique tissue called endosperm an embryo, an endosperm, or the grain which functions to nourish the embryo, two parts of each seed. Virtually all angiosperms have an endosperm that is triploid. That is, you just need to focus on what is written there. Don't start panicking. I don't know these words. They've explained it so beautifully there, right? So endosperm is the grain that nourishes the embryo. All angiosperms have endosperms that is triploid, that is it contains three copies of each chromosome. Two from the mother, one from the father's sperm. Don't worry about all this, okay? When you have specific questions in such passages, you can come back and check. Very often students tell me, ma'am, we were trying to learn all the things by heart and then we lost all our time. No, don't do that. Okay, here you just need to know that in the third para you have all these terms. What is triploid? What? So if there is a question on the definition of triploid, quickly come back and check. That's what we'll do. Huh? Okay. This contrasts with the seeds of gymnosperms. So this is about angiosperms. They are triploid. What happens to gymnosperms? In gymnosperms, the nourishing tissue, that is endosperm, is haploid, containing a single copy of each chromosome. How many copies do angiosperms have? Three. Okay. They measure DNA contents of embryo and endosperm cells using fluorescence microscopy to discover, that is the technique, we don't need to get into the details, that the water lily has a diploid endosperm, diploid with one set of chromosomes each from the mother and the father. Now, if you know root words, then di means two. And if you don't know that also, here, one set from mother, one set from father means how many? Two, two copies, right? Okay. That's the diploid water lily endosperm may represent an intermediate form between haploid gymnosperms and triploid angiosperms. Absolutely, because here they have said that in haploid there's a single copy, triploid there are three copies, here there are two copies. Understanding the origin and genetic constitution of an endosperm is critical to improving the world's food supply. Two-thirds of, because we seeds provide us with food, right? Two-thirds of calories of people, sorry, that people consume come from endosperm filled seeds of wheat, corn, etc. All of these are flowering plants. Humans co-opted endosperm from its original purpose of nourishing plant embryo to one that essentially feeds the world. Co-opted means we took it from there and we are using it to feed us. Its original purpose was to feed the plant embryo. Okay, so it's a science passage. There is no central idea per se to discuss here. Let us quickly discuss the questions. You will see a few question numbers are missing. That is because in this section, there are some computer terminology and business terminology questions in between that I'm not discussing. This is only a discussion of the English section. Okay, so yeah, question 20. The study of water lilies provides an important clue to what are we trying to find out? How these angiosperms diverge from gymnosperms, right? Okay, so learn more about the theory of evolution. No, that's very, very generic. Learn about how the flowering plants diverge from their non-flowering yet seed-bearing, that's gymnosperms, right? Relatives, yes. Know the actual growth cycle of water lilies and other flowering plants. No, that was not the idea at all, to know about the growth cycle of plants. Know the difference between plants growing on land and those growing in water. That comparison has not been mentioned at all. Hence, 2 is the answer. Very easy. A unique feature of the about the seed of a flowering plant. What is the unique feature of the seed of a flowering plant? Here it has got distinguishing feature is each seed consists of two parts, embryo and an endosperm, right? That is the unique feature. So what it has an embryo, not only embryo, Let us see. It has grains inside the embryo. Not really. It has an embryo and an endosperm. Yes, that is the unique feature. Its endosperm and embryo look similar. All these are far-fetched options. Very easy. Whatever is written there, you take. Okay. The the endosperm of water lily is what? What is it? Very direct question. It's written there, diploid. Straight question. You don't even need to look at the other options. The seeds of non-flowering plants have. Non-flowering, that is the gymnosperms. What do they have? They are haploid, which means they have a single copy of each chromosome. Okay, now it's very, very clearly written here, right? Gymnosperms, haploid. Gymnosperms are the non-flowering plants. Okay, single copy. No need to discuss the other options. Okay. What is the role of these endosperm filled seeds in the present world? In the present world, they are used as food for humans. So, that is feeding human beings. Don't get confused. Feeding the seed embryo is the original purpose, but today we have um, uh, adapted, or we have, I should say, adopted them, and we are using them to feed ourselves, right? So 3 is the answer. Okay, that is done. Now let us look at other vocabulary questions. We all have our own ideas and opinions, and getting everyone to listen and to consider our something that means ideas and opinions, right? With an open mind is always a very difficult task. Accounts would be our stories in this context, not really. Our articles to consider our art. We're not talking of writing at all here. Our features does not make sense. Perspectives. Perspectives means point of view, ideas, etc. So that is the answer. Okay. Okay. Now we need to fill this in with the right preposition, it looks like. Dash this time last year, she first started complaining about pain in the lower back. So, what does it mean? Approximately at this time last year, she first started complaining. So, what is the word that gives that meaning? Around this time last year. On this time doesn't make sense. By this time last year, she had started something, right? That would be the sentence. By this time, she had started something already. That is the meaning. With also doesn't make sense. Around means approximately. Okay. Ah, here we have idiom again, an idiomatic expression again. When she says that the gloves are off, well, take care. Okay. The gloves are off means, see, anyway, it says take care. So it's a word of caution. Even if you do not know the meaning, what could it be? To be ready to break all rules? Yes, possible. To be in trouble. When she says we are in trouble, take care. Okay, to be ready for an open fight, yes, you have to be careful. To be unapologetic about something, if she's unapologetic, you may not have to take care, but the gloves are off. It's almost like a reference to, allusion to a game of boxing, probably. The gloves are off means you are ready for an open fight. Okay, that is why there's a word of caution here. Okay. So for idioms, you need to know the idiom. Either you know it or you don't. Okay. There is no technique per se. You have to try and learn as many idioms as possible. Of course, if you are used to reading or if you are exposed to the English language through movies or whatever, then you may have caught some idioms too. Okay. Now we have Yeah, again, another idiom question. They couldn't invest in the apartment immediately as the cupboard is bare. It doesn't literally mean that the cupboard is bare. Okay, there are several words to this, I mean, idioms to this effect. What does that mean? The cupboard is bare, or the treasury is bare, or the coffers are bare. It means that they don't have enough funds or money. Okay, so the desired resources are not available, usually financial resources. Okay. The ship is leaving, so we have to fill it with the right phrasal verb. Let us dash and find our cabin. What do you say for in the context of the ship? Let us go aboard. Let us board the ship. Let's go on board or go aboard. Go aboard the ship, right? Yeah, the others don't make sense. To go about is to go about doing something. Go against is to protest or rebel. Go across is literally go to go from one place to the other. Okay. Now we have another antonym question, tortuous. Tortuous means winding. Okay, winding. So the opposite of tortuous. Normally we talk of tortuous in the context of this is not torturous. Okay, please mind the difference. We use the word tortuous when we talk of hairpin curves and very sharp twists and turns, especially in a road. Okay, so what is the opposite of that? Opposite of that is indeed straight. Okay, sinuous is also something with a lot of curves, but very sleek, smooth curves. Okay, tortuous is sharp, rough, wild curves. Okay. Again, we are looking at the opposite. Deter is to dissuade someone from doing something, to discourage them. So the opposite is encourage, right? None of these are related. Okay. Okay, you need to find the meaning of the word resplendent. Resplendent means radiant. So the synonym is splendid. Okay, you also have the same root here, splend, which means bright. Okay, resplendent, splendid. The State Museum building, resplendent after the finishing touches, was aglow in sunlight. Enamored is greatly enchanted. Reverberate is to vibrate. And incongruous is something that doesn't go together. Okay, mismatch. Okay, fill in the blanks with either an article or a suitable word. He was driving at 50 miles per is not there. So 50 miles an hour, right? You know that the vowel an is used the article and the indefinite article an is used before vowel sounds, not vowels, but vowel sounds. So since the H is silent here, he was driving at 50 miles. The sound here is hour, hour. So an hour. Okay. Next. The minister rebelled dash the allotment of party tickets before the recent assembly elections. To rebel over something. Okay, rebel over something or rebel against somebody or something. Rebel over. Fine. That is, you just need to know this. It's just the way it is. Okay, there is no logic or anything. It's more like a rule that these are the words that go together. We call it collocation, certain words going together. Okay. Okay. We have another RC passage here. Shall we quickly run through it? Okay. The percentage of women-owned businesses has increased in the last decade as more and more women entrepreneurs find access to capital and markets for their goods and ideas. Okay, what is the reason more women entrepreneurs are able to find access to both the funds as well as markets for whatever they want to sell? There still remain troubling issues that affect women more than men. As we all know, gender differences stem from nurture and nature alike. Okay, so this nurture versus nature is nature refers to the inherent factors, and nurture refers to the factors that are shaped by the environment. So gender differences are a function of both nature and nurture. It's not only socialization that shapes men and women, it's also biology. Okay, so that is biology is the nature part, socialization would be the nurture part or external factors. Work life balance is not a new problem for women, but the ever quickening pace of business today requires even greater organization and sacrifice for female business leaders, because things are moving at such a fast pace today. Job sharing, maternity leave, and networks of other women in the workplace and in professional organizations can help women navigate the often conflicting demands of motherhood and career. These are offered as some solutions. Okay. In climbing an organizational ladder dominated by men, women encounter obstacles of the more traditional feminine behaviors and mannerisms to which she may be accustomed. What does this mean? The typical feminine ways of doing things that is often considered an obstacle for a woman in climbing the corporate ladder. These obstacles may erode her sense of identity, creating difficulties both inside and outside of her work environment. Okay. Certain behaviors that are inherent to women. This is also the nature part. These factors may be an obstacle to them. Studies have linked postgraduate education with advancement in business, showing that about two-thirds of women managers have PG degrees. MBA programs could attract more women too by emphasizing career paths outside the corporate environment. More women than men strongly feel that they're not as motivated by money in choosing a career. Okay, so one way of attracting more women to MBA programs would be to emphasize career paths that are outside the corporate environment, because many women strongly feel that money is not their strongest motivator in choosing a career. Perhaps then non-profit organizations and government institutes might prove appealing alternatives to women entering the job market. Okay, so this passage is just a series of thoughts on women in business, various issues related to that. Let us take a look at the questions. Women entrepreneurs are increasing because we saw that they have more access to capital as well as markets. One says they are able to market their goods and ideas. This doesn't mention capital, but it is partly correct. Let us see. Attend business programs regularly, not mentioned, are encouraged by high-tech companies, again out of scope, are highly educated and want to outshine or excel men in every field, extreme option. So, though this is incomplete, though capital is missing, sometimes you have to go for the best available option. Hence, one is the answer. Okay. Gender differences stem from Nurture and nature alike. What is the meaning of that? Nature has a role in discriminating between a girl child and a boy child. Nature does not discriminate. Nature and nurture both have roles. That is all. The idea of the difference in gender is nurtured in a girl child by the way she's brought up. That is only about nurture, and it's not about nurturing the idea of gender difference. The difference between male and female is caused not only by society but also by nature. Yes, that is what is clearly mentioned in the passage. That is, it is not only the society but also nature that suppresses the women. That is extreme. The passage doesn't talk of suppression of women in this particular context. Hence, the answer is 3. A woman can overcome the conflicting demands of motherhood and career by what is mentioned here. It's mentioned that, yeah, all these things, right? Job sharing, maternity leave, and networks of other women in the workplace and in professional organizations can help women. If you're not sure, please go and check. Working under a compassionate and understanding chief. While that could be true, it has not been mentioned in the passage. We have to stick to what is written in the passage. Clearly deciding to sacrifice one for the other. That is not a solution. Working in large organizations that offer women centric entitlements. Okay. Or maintaining a network of other women in the professional organization. While all these could be ways, here it says, okay, job sharing, maternity leave, and networks of other women in the workplace and in professional organizations. So, which of the following is mentioned here? Maintaining a network of other women in the professional organization. Hence, that is the answer. Okay. Large organizations that offer women centric entitlements could also be possible, but but option 4 is what is directly mentioned. A woman trying to climb the organizational ladder may face obstacles, like the obstacle mentioned here is traditional feminine mannerisms coming in the way, right? Encountering men who are dominating may be true but not mentioned. Submitting to the traditional feminine behavior and mannerisms. It's not really that they submit here. The option is a little distorted, but that's okay. It's not that women submit to the traditional behavior, but that such traditional behavior, which is inherent in women, is considered an obstacle. But yes, the meaning is the same. A lack of leadership qualities, definitely not mentioned. Lack of enough education or training beyond the scope of the passage. Hence, 2 is the answer. Okay. The fact that two-thirds of women managers have PG degrees, what does it show? It shows that education helps women advance in their careers. Let us see. Women are more educated than men. That comparison has not been made. It's just two-thirds of women, not the figure compared with men. Educated women can easily advance in business. Yes, it does say that the number of women entrepreneurs has increased also. More women are encouraged to enter business schools, may be true, but it has not been mentioned. Women are able to choose their career early in life. That also is out of scope, hence the answer is 2. Okay, that is done. Now, fill in the blanks. Very often, people willingly dash a hike in pay in order to stay with their families. They willingly let go of. What is the word? Accept is the opposite of that sense. Surrender a hike in pay. Surrender is to give it back. Okay, so that is not exact. Forgo. Forgo is to let go of, to say no to. Okay, delay is to take it later. That doesn't make sense. Hence, the answer is forgo. Yeah. Now, word that is similar in meaning to the given word. Credulous is somebody who trusts or believes very easily. So the right word is believing or trusting. Okay. No, you know the meanings of all the other words. They don't match. As the world continues to, okay, this is a phrasal verb again. Real dash an economic crisis. This is a very specific expression. To reel under a crisis. Okay, to reel under is to be troubled by or to suffer. Reel under an economic crisis. None of the other words co-locate with this expression to reel under. Okay. The booming publishing industry, I'm just checking if there are any comments. No comments for me. We are almost done with the session. If you have any questions or comments, please let me know. The booming publishing industry in India, eager to grab on the changing reading habits and the demand for entertainment dash the word has started encouraging new genres. Entertainment using the word. So, what would that be? Through the word, as in through writing, through books. Okay, none of the others make sense here. The entrance of Kerala Folklore House in Kochi is made of remnants of or remnants from. So here the given word is from. Remnants means remains remnants of a temple or remnants from a temple. Both are correct. Okay. So that is it, dear students. Hope you've got all the answers right. If not, hope you understood where you went wrong. And more importantly, hope the session has given you certain tips and tricks to handle the exam. Keep practicing. All the best. And hope you have subscribed to our YouTube channel. Do feel free to contact us on our website or on this email ID. Thank you.